Today I'm joined by Eugene Kaspersky, CEO and co-founder of Kaspersky Labs. Hi Eugene, thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for asking me to come here.
No problem at all. Let's start with the main computer security threats. I mean, what are the top threats that you're seeing that businesses are having to face, both currently and historically?
Well, actually, how dangerous the threats are for some specific networks depends on which information is stored and used in this network. For the banks, for example, I think that the most dangerous are Trojans which steal bank information. For companies which have some sensitive data, also the spying software which steals the data. If you work on your computer at home, you also have some information. If you are a hard player, the most dangerous are Trojans which steal online games information. Mm-hmm. And from the technical point of view, now we face more and more complicated malware, which is developed by high-end software engineers, which do their best to bypass the protection, to infect the system in such a way that it's very difficult to find and remove the malware. So there are different threats, and they have a different danger. They are dangerous for business, or they just are very complicated and dangerous because of that.
Okay. I mean, and in terms of the threats, it seems like nowadays companies are trying to manage internal threats from employees, etc., just as much as external threats.
Yeah. Simply because there are more and more data stored internally in the networks, and businesses, they depend on this data. So the bad guys, some of the bad guys, they are insiders, and so they started to pay more attention to that, and this is a rising problem. And unfortunately, still there are no complete solution against that, because there are different environment in different companies. The IT systems, they are really different. So, well, actually, this is a really serious problem, and for sure, security companies will pay more and more attention to that, as well as security guys in the companies.
And it seems to be there's a new kind of a job role emerging in people that I've spoken to, where you have chief security officers and things like that are specially employed just to look after security. Do you see that becoming more of a trend, that businesses will create more of a kind of senior security role?
Exactly, because now their businesses, well, the global economics, they depend on the IT. That's why we have to pay more attention to this problem, and we have a special dedicated people which are responsible for that. Of course, yes.
What do you think businesses could be doing more or less to make sure that, obviously it's easier to say make sure you're secure, but kind of are there any practical tips that you would give to businesses that they can be doing?
First of all, to pay more attention to the security from a technical point of view, to understand which threats are, what's the danger for you, particular business, to understand better which information flow and how this information can be attacked by external or internal threats, and also the employees' education, just to have their probably some special classes for them to educate people what's going on, and how it's dangerous or is it safe to work in the internet, and what is their modern threats. And actually what we do as a company, we educate people, and actually that helps us.
Okay.
It helps businesses.
And in terms of what you're doing as a company, I mean, the mobile space seems to be just as interesting as the kind of desktop space at the moment, in terms of people using mobile phones when they're out and about to send emails and to create documents that they perhaps used to only do in the office. So what's Kaspersky, what are you doing, or what are you seeing in terms of trends for embedded device security?
Yeah. Well, actually, to understand the reasons why there are malware for Windows-based machines, there are some malware for Mac systems, there are some malware for smartphones. To understand why the reasons, what are the reasons for that? The reasons are their money, the services which can be attacked, and number of users. Because to be the hackers, the criminals, they have to be interested to infect these machines, and that means that there should be some visible number of their computers or their smartphones. And what we see that the number of mobile malware is rising over year by year, and their territories which are responsible for most of malicious code. As China, Latin America, Russian-speaking countries, they have more and more services with smartphones, so it's coming.